Self-improvement might be ruining your life, and you probably don't even realize it. Because from the outside, you're doing everything right. You're trying to be disciplined, you're trying to stay focused, you're trying not to waste your time like everyone else. So how could that possibly be a bad thing? But let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually felt satisfied? Not proud for a second, not relieved for a moment, but I mean genuinely satisfied. Because if you're honest, it's probably been a while. You finish something, and instead of feeling good about it, your brain instantly goes, what's next? You go to the gym, and instead of thinking, that was good, you think, I could have done more. You spend a productive day, and somehow still feel behind. And that's where it starts. Not in failure, but in the feeling that nothing you do is ever enough. And the scary part is that feeling gets worse the more you try to improve, because now you know what you could be doing, so every time you're not doing it, it feels like you're wasting your life. You're sitting there watching some video, and instead of enjoying it, your brain goes, you should be working. You go hang out with your friends, but instead of being present, you're thinking, this is a waste of time. You take a break, and it doesn't feel like a break. It feels like guilt. And no one tells you this part. Because online, self-improvement is sold as this perfect life. Wake up early, stay locked in, be better than everyone else. But what they don't show you is what it does to your mind. Because slowly you stop living life. You start managing it. Everything becomes calculated. Everything becomes optimized. Everything becomes something you're either winning at or failing at. Even small things. You open your phone for a second, and suddenly it's, I'm wasting time. You skip one day of the gym, and suddenly it's, I'm losing progress. You don't feel motivated, and suddenly it's, I'm falling behind everyone else. And it's not because you're lazy, it's because your standards keep moving. There's this idea that if you just push harder, if you just become more disciplined, if you just fix yourself, everything will finally feel right. But here's what actually happens. You reach a new level, and your brain immediately normalizes it. What used to feel like progress now feels like the bare minimum, and now you need more. There's this one quote I heard. The problem with always chasing the next level is that you forget you already leveled up. And I think that explains everything, because you're not actually unhappy with your life. You've just trained yourself to only see what's missing. Think about it. A year ago, the thing you do right now would have impressed you, but today, they don't mean anything. And that's not growth, that's pressure. Another thing people don't talk about is how self-improvement changes how you see other people. You start judging everything. You see people partying, and instead of just thinking, that's not for me, you think they're wasting their life. You see someone relaxing, and your brain goes, they have no discipline. And slowly you isolate yourself, not physically, mentally. Because now you feel like you're on a different path. And maybe you are. But that doesn't mean everyone else is wrong. And this is where it gets really dangerous, because now your entire identity is built around improving. And if you're not improving, you feel like you're losing yourself. That's why some people burn out, not because they're weak, but because they never allow themselves to just exist. There's another quote that stuck with me. You can't turn your whole life into a project and expect to enjoy it. And that's exactly what a lot of people are doing. They've turned their life into something they constantly fix. But here's the thing no one tells you. You don't need to hate your current life to build a better one. You don't need to feel behind to move forward. And you don't need to optimize every second to be successful. Because if your entire life feels like something you need to escape from, even if you improve it, you'll still feel the same. And that's why people hit goals and still feel empty. Because they thought the goal would fix the feeling, but the feeling was never about the goal. It was about how they saw themselves the entire time. And I'm not saying stop improving. No. That's not the point. You should still work hard, build discipline, learn new skills. But there's a difference between I want to get better and I'm not enough unless I get better. One builds you, the other slowly destroys you. Because one comes from growth, the other comes from pressure. And pressure doesn't last. Eventually it breaks you. So yeah, self-improvement isn't ruining your life. But the way most people are doing it, kind of is. They're chasing a version of themselves that always stays out of reach. They're turning their life into something they constantly need to fix. And they're forgetting to actually live in the progress. So if you're watching this, and you feel like you're doing everything right, but still don't feel good, It's because you've been taught that you're never allowed to feel like you've done enough. And maybe, just maybe, that's the thing you really need to fix.